Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Shami and I'm back with another video. In this video, we'll be looking on the square and square root of numbers and their differences. Let's get right into it. Now, the square of a number is the answer from a number times itself. For example, we have 4. So 4 times itself would be 4 times 4. Or you could say 4 squared. So it would be 4 to the second power or index. So 4 times 4 would be 16. So the square of a number is the answer you get from a number times itself. Therefore, the square of 4 is 16. On the other hand, the square root of a number is defined as the number which when multiplied by itself gives the original number. For example, we want to find the square root of 4. Which number can be multiplied by itself to give 4? We know that 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So therefore, 2 would be the square root of 4. So, the square root of a number is the number which when multiplied by itself gives the original number. So 2 would be the square root. So you see the difference between the square of a number and the square root of a number. The square of a number is the answer you get from the number when it is multiplied by itself, while on the other hand, the square root of a number is a number which when multiplied by itself gives the original number. Please note that the square root of a number can either be negative or positive, but we only need to use the positive square root. So for example, the square root of 16 would be 4, and this 4 can either be negative or positive. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So if you say positive 4 times positive 4, you would get 16. So the square root can be positive, or you could say negative 4 times negative 4, you'll still get the same 16. So it could be either negative or positive, because negative times negative gives a positive number, and positive times positive will always be positive. So the square root of a number can either be negative or positive, but we only need to use the positive square root. So there are two signs used to represent square root. You could either use this sign, which is the original sign, or you could use to the power half. So you could say the square root of 4 or 4 to the power half. 4 to the power half is also asking for the square root of 4. Now, let's move on to simplifying square root. So for example, you're asked to find the square root of, let's say, 2500. To find the square root of 2500, first you look if the number has a perfect square, and we do know that 25 is a perfect square because 5 times 5 is 25. So we'd first do this. 25 times 100 would give you 2500. 25 is a perfect square and 100 is a perfect square as well. We'll then write it like this: the square root of 25 times the square root of 100, which would then be written like this: 5 times 5 times 10 times 10. So 5 times 5, you know that is 25, and 10 times 10 is 100. So you're simplifying. So 5 times 10. So the square root of 25 would be 5, and the square root of 100 would be 10. 5 times 10 would be 50. So the square root of 2500 would be 50. Let's see. Let's multiply 50 times 50 to see if we'll get back this 2500. Doing short multiplication, so I just put down the 0 here. So 500 55 25. So you see, I get back your original number, which is 2500. So this is how you'd find the square root of a number. In this order, you'd have to simplify. And if it has a perfect square like this one, it would be much easier. Let's do another example. If you're asked to find the square root of 1600, 16 is a perfect square, so 16 times 100 would be 1600. 16 times 100. You could then write it like this: the square root of 16 times the square root of 100, which is then written 4 times 4 times 10 times 10. You'd say 4 times 10. So the 4 times 10 is 40. So the square root of 1600 would be 40. So 40 times 40, just to make sure, then 04004416. You get back your original figure, which is 1600. So it's basically 4 steps in simplifying or finding the square root of a number. But what if we're asked to find the square root of a number that is not a perfect square? For example, 147. So to find the square root of 147, you'd have to know the factors of 147. So if you don't know the factors, let's find the factors of 147. So in order to find the factors of 147, you start dividing by the smallest prime number, which would be 2. So 2 cannot go into 147 without leaving a remainder. We then try 3. 3 can, because 3 into 14 goes 4 times, remainder 2, and 3 into 27 goes 9 times. 3 cannot go into 49 without leaving a remainder. So the next prime number to try is 5, and 5 cannot either. But 7 can, so we'll say 7 into 49 goes 7 times. 7 to 7 goes 1 time. So the prime factors of 147 would be 3 times 7 times 7. Right here, we can see we have a perfect square. So you'd say the square root 7 times 7, which is 49, times 3. So 3 times 49 would be 147. So find the square root of 49 times 3. Say the square root of 49 is 7 times the square root of 3. So the square root of 147 would be 7 times the square root of 3. So this would be the square root of 147. This is how your answer would look when finding the square root of a number that is not of perfect square. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have learned the difference between the square of a number and the square root of a number, and most importantly, how to find the square root of a number. If you didn't get it on your first watch, the video is always there for you to rewatch. Please like, share, comment, tell a friend about the channel. And if you're new, Remember to subscribe to my channel and turn that post notification on so you get notified when I upload my next video. Stay safe.